Hi everyone, vickieverlie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. Today we're going to talk about the planet Neptune, which is going to be retrograding back into the sign of Pisces. Now, it was in Pisces from 2012 until March 30th of 2025 this year. And then it went into Aries, but now it's retrograding, and it's going to go back into Pisces from October 22nd of 2025 until January 26th of 2026. So I think I may have done a video on this when it initially left Pisces, or probably I did one about going into Aries. But we're going to talk about the Neptune in Pisces. And what we've maybe learned while it was in Aries, we kind of got a little bit of step back from the Neptune and Pisces energy, and now it's going to go back. So it's kind of like a do-over, or like we're going to get a second chance in a lot of situations. Neptune is a planet of psychic energy, spirituality, creativity, but it's also illusions, escapism. So as is with everything in astrology and tarot, there's always a positive and a negative slant to it. Okay, so we're going to go sign by sign, and we're going to do a minute of astrology, but then we're also going to pull cards. I picked the story cards. I haven't used this deck in forever. It's by Kathy Nichols, but it just really has a very Neptunian feel and vibe to it. So we're going to pull one oracle card from the story card, and then we're going to do 3 tarot for clarifiers. And this month I'm going to be, for this reading, I'm going to be using the Light Seer Tarot. Alright, before we get started with the sign by sign, I want to let you know that you're watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube, and my name is vickieverlie, and you can find me at vickieverlie.com. Do not be fooled by imposters. I'm author of several books, including a book on tarot. I've been a professional reader for decades. Right now, my special offering that I have is the 2026 Year Ahead reading, which is a look at the year ahead. We'll do astrology, we'll do tarot, and this is a personal reading just for you. The most popular reading of the year. If you want to learn more or about my other offerings, head over to my website at vickieverlie.com. Okay, without further ado, let's jump right into it. We'll start with Aries. Okay, Aries, well, Neptune was in your sign. So you are one of the signs that could have really have felt the effects of it. And it's very different from your native energy, or your native is what I want to say, because you're so fiery, feisty, go-getter and everything. And Neptune is this slowing things down and all this kind of energy. But if you can kind of feel into that slowed down vibe, you know, because it's going to come back next year in January, but it also can really spark all this creativity. Now, for you also, it's going into your 12th house again, particularly if you're Aries rising. So therefore, it's going to be bringing up things from the past, the subconscious mind, and things of this nature, perhaps. Now, don't forget to check your sun, rising, and moon. We're going to leave that over here. And the first thing we're going to do is pull one oracle card from the story cards for the gist of the reading, I guess you could say, and then we'll clarify with some tarot. This is for Aries, for the Neptune in Pisces transit. You have the card of Called. I don't know what happened to the booklet, and I feel like the booklet on this, I'm pretty sure, is pretty sparse anyway. This is more of a Neptunian kind of deck where you just want to look in there and get with the vibes and everything. So look in there and get with the vibes for yourself. What do you see? What do you think? But you're being called. They're walking off together. So you're not walking alone. That's one message I would definitely pull out of this card. You're walking, there's always somebody with you, even if it's not here in the material world, if it's somewhere in spirit. Now, I don't know if that is a cardinal. It might just be a red leaf, but when I looked at this, I saw a cardinal up in the tree up there. So that could definitely be, cardinal is a sign for me of spirit guides, angels, and the whatnot that are watching over you, or in communication with you, or sending you signs and things like this. Now, the other thing that I'm noticing is there's another bird, it looks like, over here, and there's music notes on here. I don't know if you can see that. And another thing that I forgot to mention in the intro, there's some staff with some music notes, is that Neptune definitely rules over music, okay? Alright, so I'm going to shuffle up the cards, and we're going to do 3 tarot cards from the Light Seer Tarot. for some additional information for Aries. Some of you may be going to a concert. Music may call you. You're being called to a higher, by your higher guidance is really what I want to say. But let's go ahead and get 3 clarifiers for Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, 1, 2, and 3. We have the Hangman, very similar energy, you know, that's that being in that meditative state. The King of Pentacles, that would be an earth sign person, earth sign energy, or earth sign time, could be, oops. And then our last card, of course, is going to be the Queen of Wands. So there's people. It's interesting to me that there's people, and I kind of looked through this deck before I decided to use it, and I don't recall a lot of people being in this deck. And so you get a card from the initial deck that has 2 people in it. Excuse me. And then you have people and people here too. Now this Queen of Wands, it could definitely be a representation of you, regardless of your gender. Because this is the fire sign person, the Leo, the Aries, the Sagittarius. This could also be seasonal though. This is fire to earth. This could be the season as we move in from Sagittarius into Capricorn, right around the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere here, that December 20-something time frame, right? So there could be a really favorable and positive thing transpiring at that time. Something that you've been waiting for, and that's another thing with the Neptune going back in your 12th house. It kind of can put things on the back burner, push things towards the back, and there you can be in this meditative state, which I know, Aries, is not your favorite, you know, that's not your normal behavior and everything. You want to be that fire, that spark shining bright and everything. But I think maybe if you can try to take some time to do something, maybe just go for walks, whatever it might be, and maybe with another person in the King of Pentacles, who could be this earth sign person, perhaps Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, that you're going to come out of this as we go into next year. When it goes back into your sign, you're going to be inspired, you're going to be ready, you're going to be sparked and ready to go. The other thing is this earth sign person, sometimes this has to do with money and finances, but it really overall has more of a spiritual vibe for you, more of a soul-seeking, self-seeking kind of vibe, kind of energy that is... you know, you're being called to this higher calling is the best thing I can get out of it. The strongest thing that I get out of it for you, okay, Aries? All right, if you want to look into it more, if you order the year ahead, we'll definitely dive into where that's all going to be hidden in your chart, etc. But this is just a little mini check-in. I have the main reading and some other readings on my website. If you want the 2026, go ahead and head to the website or the channel for more video readings, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to the sign of Taurus. Well, Taurus, this is moving in from your 12th to your 11th house. So 11th house is friends and associates. You know, with you too, I really want to kind of go with that creative vibe because, you know, you are Venus ruled. You are very creative by nature. Meeting up with creative friends, collaborating, belonging to groups with people that are creating things. It could just be brainstorming some kind of, you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily creative as far as the arts go, but that's highly likely with a lot of Taurians. But it could also be, you know, brainstorming some business idea or putting together some kind of something where you're working with the group. But then the Neptune allows you to kind of tap into that hive mind energy too, that collective unconscious, you know. Okay, let's go ahead and get one card for Taurus for the upcoming Neptune transit. We have gratitude. Yeah, well, that's always a good thing anyway. Now, I don't know where the book is, and I think it's pretty sparse anyway, but with the Neptune, I felt like I wanted to get a more visual deck that you can just look at. So go ahead and look up for yourself and see if you're getting any vibes or anything's drawing your attention. Now, there are birds singing with... there's birds singing with music notes over here. The first thing that got my attention was her holding her heart chakra, putting her hands over her heart chakra and get gratitude, almost like it looks like a heart. So maybe doing some work with your heart chakra during this time, connecting with people, you know, opening your heart. Also, though, there's all these tick marks. I don't know if that's coming in clear, but you know, something that you've been waiting on and counting down the days to, or counting down, and there's these numbers up here, 19, 20, 21. Now, interesting, the Neptune transit goes back in there on the 22nd. So it's almost like the countdown, perhaps, to that. But let's go ahead and get a few tarot just to clarify for our Taurus friends. This is for Taurus, Sun, Rising, and Moon. What is the Neptune transit going to look like for Taurus friends? Okay. 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 of Wands. Nice. Followed by King of Pentacles, and that came out of the cut, and that was in the same spot last time. Well, that's actually a representation of you, Taurus, the King of Pentacles is. And then let's get this last card. Page of Pentacles. Both are representations of you. Page of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. Well, it's interesting, and with these markings, what I heard is you've come a long way, baby. That's from some old cigarette commercial from way back in the day. I think it was even Virginia Slims. It's so wild that I would still have that in my memory banks. But you've come a long way, baby. You know, and it could even be, because this Neptune transit from the last, when it went into Pisces, was all the way back in 2012. So there could be all these tick marks and all these years, you know. You've come a long way. You've come from the page to the king. That shows real progress, okay, when you come from the page to the king. Because the page, the knight, the queen, the king. So that says that you've really progressed. You've made a lot of progress. You've matured. And, you know, these are pentacle cards, so it could be financially, sure. But it's, again, this heart chakra thing and your 11th house activation. It's usually more of people, friendships, and things like that. 6 of Wands is here, and that is triumph and victory. Being celebrated, maybe this is the countdown to the big day of your new job, or the big day of your big show or something, or your big tour, or you're debuting your project or whatever. But you know, the spotlight is on you, and there's a lot of victory, triumph energy, where you're ready. Maybe you weren't ready before. Maybe whatever you were working on needed more work. Or if it's a job or something, maybe you needed more experience. You needed to get more experience and more time, hours in it. You have to do those 10,000 hour things to get good at anything, right? So you've done your time, you've got your hours in, and some of you, it might be some kind of garment or fashion thing, because what's striking my attention here is the patterning on this pentacle, or mandala, it looks like that he's holding. Is this almost very similar patterning to that skirt. So there could be some money coming through some kind of fashion thing. Maybe you're going to be in a fashion show as a model or a designer, or you know, something like that. Or you're launching a clothing line or something for somebody, or you're going to be involved in it in some way, even if it's not your line. Maybe you'll get a job at a fashion house or a designer house or something like that. But that's going to be for some. But be in gratitude. Open that heart chakra, and also the prosperity and growth is going to come in, and maybe some new friends and contacts too, because these people could also be other people. One could be you, and the other one could be another person, okay? All right, Taurus, well, if you want to dive into this and more, you can order my year ahead reading, which is it's the most popular reading of the year, and we'll go into all these astrology transits for you, and also the planet of Uranus going into your sign and everything back into your sign. This will all be covered, plus a 4-quarter tarot and an animal totem. So if you're interested, head over to my website for the 2026 reading. And if you want more readings from me on YouTube, I'm the Rock and Roll Prophetess. Please do share and subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos. I have longer ones and shorter ones. I have a big longer one for the whole month, so if you haven't caught that, then head over there and check it out. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the sign of Gemini. So Gemini, this is up in your 10th house of career. So where things may have been foggy or not fully materialized in your 10th house of career, that now it can be, dreams can be realized, you know. Something that you maybe was going on before that maybe kind of dropped off at around March time, or changed or metamorphosized around March. It may come back into play, and it could be really positive. There could be a level of maybe uncertainty around it, yes, but I feel for the most part it's favorable, positive, and a lot of big bursts of creativity in your job and work too. Creative solutions, creative problem solving. Okay, let's go ahead and get, first we'll do the oracle card from the story cards, the Neptunian story cards, which are very visual and not that verbal, like Neptune in Pisces. Okay, for Gemini, we have longing. Okay, take a look at the imagery, because that's why I chose this deck. It's not a big deck of it's not a lot of wordy explanations. There's some kind of little booklet, but it's very sparse. It's more about the visual and the vibes and the feel, okay? So longing. It looks like the bird is grounded. The bird is grounded and it longs to be up in the stars or up on the Ferris wheel up high. For some reason it's grounded. So it's longing to soar like, you know, like it did at one time, or maybe has yet to. I also noticed that these leaves on this branch that it's on here, they've been eaten up by bugs and stuff. So something is getting old and dying out and withering, and it's time to soar to new heights, especially with that thing being up in your 10th house with the Neptune placement. You know, that is the top of your chart, especially if you're Gemini rising, right? Okay, let's go ahead and get 3 cards for Gemini to clarify from the tarot for the Neptune in Pisces transit for our Gemini friends, Sun, Rising, Moon, or anyone with prominent Gemini in their charts. Okay, first card here is 5 of Wands. It's been struggle. Yeah, been struggle. Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, and Temperance. I like this Temperance card a lot. If you've never seen the Light Seer Tarot, this guy's like Mr. Sexy, whatever, I don't know. Something about him, he's very compelling. You know, he's got the sun and the moon, and that's not the usual thing for the Temperance. Usually they have 2 cups that they're moving together. So he's moving the energy of the sun and moon. So this could have something to do with the new and full moons, you know, because that's when the sun and moon interact. Actually, on the day of the October 22nd, well, the sun transits into the sign of Scorpio on that day. So there will be a big solar shift or solar transit, okay? Well, there'll be a lot of new and full moons during this time frame. Not in Gemini, though. Oh, actually, maybe not. There will be should be during Sagittarius season. There should be a Gemini full moon. I'm going to give you that date because I feel like that might be that's the first thing that really grabbed my attention, was the sun and the moon over there. Yeah, it's going to be December 4th. There will be a full moon in your sign, a full moon in Gemini on December 4th. So, yeah, that could be a very significant day for you. It's interesting to me also that the wings, you know, we were talking about the bird and the soaring and everything, and here is this wing thing here, okay? So your guides, angels, your higher guidance, you're co-creating with them. They are bringing in circumstances and things that will allow you to fly again to the light, you know, fly up to the light. We've got the 5 of Wands over here, which shows your struggles, right? But then there's this fire shooting out of the top of this. There's this fire, these flames, and it's shooting right up at the Queen of Wands again, who is a fire energy, okay? So there is this fire sign thing. Now, interestingly enough, the December 4th full moon that we were just talking about, that's going to be in the fire sign of Sagittarius, when the sun is in Sagittarius. So that's, again, really strongly kind of pushing us in that direction. But yeah, the Queen of Wands is sparking up this positive vibes and this positive energy. This could also represent an actual person in your life who is a fire sign, a Leo, an Aries, or a Sagittarius. So keep that in mind as well. But yeah, it looks like things could be really soaring for you. If you felt grounded and had struggles, you could really see, and a lot of it is because this is Neptunian too, communing with that higher guidance, you know, working with your guides and angels, co-creating, because they can always see things that we can't. Okay, Gemini, thanks for tuning in. Head over to my channel for more videos, and also if you'd like to get a personal reading, I have many, but right now the 2026 is the big one that's I'm promoting. It's the whole year ahead for 2026. astrology, your astrology, tarot, animal totem. So exciting stuff. Head over there if you're interested. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up or hit that subscribe. Always helpful with the all-powerful algorithm. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the sign of Cancer. Well, Cancer, this is over here in your 9th house, okay? Your 9th house is the house of spirituality, of higher learning. Your card already came out. Higher learning, knowledge, travel, long-distance travel. So again, you're one of the people that it could really be a lot of spiritual downloads, aha moments. I mean, we've had this little break from Neptune and Aries from March, well, the end of March through October. So we've had several months where we've had a little bit of time to reflect on what those last, 13 years were like. And it feels like you could really come back in when it comes back in, because it's water sign, harmonious with you. And it's going in on the day that the sun is going to be in Scorpio. So there's going to be this nice grand trine in water setting up when you include your sign. So yeah, I feel like it could feel like coming home. I looked at this card and it felt like coming home, but also just, really feeling more comfortable, seeing what, having a better perspective, coming from a higher perspective as to what the last 13 years were about, really. Okay, so this card flipped out as I was shuffling. If you haven't been watching the whole video, this is the story cards, and I picked them because they're very sparse. There's not really much interpretation. The interpretation is left up to the viewer, and they are very Neptunian, and this card is so Neptunian. Look at all the water energy and the house and the sky. Very Piscean, Neptunian water energy emitting from this card, which is interesting because it falls in with the astrology, right? So yeah, it's about immersing into this water. Now, the 9th house for you is also travel. So you may end up taking a little trip, even if it's just a day trip or a weekend. It doesn't have to be some huge expensive vacation, although it could be that too. But maybe it's just a weekend or a day, a day at the beach. But getting by that water, and this card feels like, there's nothing else around, finding that quiet place, that peaceful, quiet place that you need to be in order to really get those psychic messages and downloads and what the universe is trying to tell you through that 9th house of higher awareness. And the Pisces, which is also very higher awareness. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 cards to clarify for our Cancer, Sun, Rising, Moon. Let's do 3 cards for Cancer, for the Neptune transit into Pisces. What do we have here? We have the 4 of Pentacles, that's some financial stuff. And the King of Wands, that's a fire sign energy. And finally, the 6 of Cups. Yeah, 6 of Cups is happiness from the past. And with the retrograde, it absolutely can be for the past, for everybody. It could really be something from the past for everyone. Oops, my little thing almost fell down here. There, my little sun blocking thing I have over here. Okay, so you may be going, this feels to me, I get really strong, this could be like some place you used to go as a child or something. And even here. Maybe as a kid, every summer you went to this place on the beach, or you used to visit there, you had relatives that lived there, it was a vacation that your family took. Feels really strong about that. And it does feel like there is some stress about money, about being able to afford it. But I feel like, again, it doesn't have to be for a really long time or a week. It could be for a day. You could go out for a day, or, just an overnight weekend, bed and breakfast kind of thing. King of Wands is here. So this person in the Leo energy is really standing out to me behind him, that lion. So this could be, well, it could be Leo time, like August was always the time that you went to this place. But sometimes going to these places in the winter, or colder weather in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, it's even better because there isn't all the crowds and all the people around. You kind of have the place to yourself a lot of times. But I'm feeling like there's somebody else from the past. Maybe if it's one of your relatives, if it was a thing like this, or whoever, that might want to go with you. just for old time's sakes, I'm hearing. You know, you might want to go with you and share in the expenses, or maybe they'll say, hey, I got it, you know, I've got a pass, or you know, guess what, now I have a place up there of my own, and we can go stay at my place, or whatever. Or I was planning on going anyway, you know, I'll drive, or, you know, whatever it is. But I feel like, and I feel like it won't impede on your peace. This isn't somebody who's like, I hate going to concerts with people who are, all they want to do is talk in your ear the whole time, well, scream in your ear the whole time. It's like, you know, I'm here to listen to the show, not listen to your yapping the whole time. You know, so I've gone to concerts by myself, not too often, but I have. And just because of that, you know, I don't want somebody, I'm not here to listen to you screaming in my ear, I'm here to listen to the music. So, but this person, there's not like that. There's a real peace around it. And I feel like for many, it's somebody you knew from your childhood. Even if it's not like your sibling or cousin or somebody, maybe it's just another family that used to always see there. Or maybe if it's not even, maybe it's a neighbor from when you grew up that has nothing to do with this location, but you might get a hold of them and say, hey, why don't we get together? And maybe they say, oh yeah, I got my place. You know, it could be a lot of different scenarios for a lot of different people. But what I feel is that this will do you a lot of good. The other thing is, maybe if you go by yourself, you will run into somebody from the past there. And I feel this childhood thing comes through very strongly with the little boy with the dog really stands out to me. Now the thing with the dog too, that could be maybe they had a pet and you love the dog, or they loved your dog, or your dogs played. I mean, like the dog thing could also play in there as well, okay? All right, well, everybody, well, hey, Cancer, this is just a little mini read. If you want to dive deeper, you could always order a personal reading from me. The one I'm featuring now, of course, is the 2026 year ahead reading, which is Astrology Tarot for the whole upcoming year. But I have other readings available. Remember that you are watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube. Don't be fooled by imposters. And if you could hit that like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Next, we're going to take a look at the sign of Leo. Okay, Leo, this is in your 8th house, which is money, it's joint finances, it's inheritance, it's legal matters, it's taxes, it's money from your spouse or partner. There's like some kind of money situation that they're involved in. And it could be money partnerships with other people, because it's like the group finances or the money from the partnership, whether it's a business partnership or it's a personal relationship. Okay, first thing we're going to do is pull a card from the Story Cards by Kathy Nichols. I chose these because they're very ethereal, very Neptunian, and don't have a lot of, there's not a lot of interpretation. Even the little booklet that comes, it's not even a booklet, it's a printout. It really has very little. So this is, you were going to use our Neptunian energy, right? And we're going to look at this. And look at it on your own and see how it affects you and how you feel about it, you know? How it makes you feel. What does it spark? You know, the card is called healing. So there's a call for a healing, yes. But notice that there's 2 people on there. And everything I was talking about with you, it's 2 people. It's your joint finances, it's your partnerships and things like that. Some of you may be going through a struggle, but if that's the case, look at the beautiful flower that is blooming there. So even if in cold, I'm hearing that song, oh, will wind blow away, let me rest today, you're blowing me no good. I love that tune. I forget who does it. That's a really old tune from like way back. Like I think in the, I don't know, maybe the 1930s even. I love that tune though, but that tune definitely came through. So there's this ill wind that may be blowing through, but there's always tomorrow, there's always this little spark. And Leo, you know, you're so upbeat anyway. I like too that the little flower is gold, like you, like the golden Leo, you know. But take a look at it, you know, this time frame in the Northern Hemisphere when this is all happening, it is mostly during the winter season. Well, it'll be coming out on January 26th, but if you're in the Northern Hemisphere in the East, Eastern United States or Europe, you know, it's highly likely, but during this time frame, you know, December or January, we will have scenes like this, you know, we will have snow on the ground and it will look like this. But, you know, it's always doing that healing time going within. Oh, these are, how many flew out? 3? Yeah, 3 flew out for you, so we're going to take them. So these are the 3 cards that you have. The Ace of Cups, the Hermit, and the Two of Wands. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you have the Hermit with this healing card. You know, that's the thing, because this feels sort of, you know, desolate or whatever the case might be. And the Hermit is just that as well. You know, that's kind of, that's spending that time by yourself, you know. I mean, because it's so partnership. Even her, you know, the Two of Wands, which is also a partnership card in the traditional tarot. But even look at her. The other stick is unattended. She's looking, she's spending time, she's daydreaming, she's thinking, she's imagining. You know, she's looking out the window, she's thinking about a trip. She's got the world in her van here. And the partner is, there's another person, you know, there's a pair here. But it's not so prominent. You know, it's just not so, it's so, even though this is a seventh house, you may need to spend more time by yourself, you know. Maybe for some, because Leos, you're so upbeat, you know, you really are one of the most upbeat signs. I would say you and Sag, probably the most upbeat signs of the zodiac, and then Aries to some extent too. I can't get this thing to go straight, it just won't do it. Okay. But maybe your partner is bringing you down. I mean, that can happen. And the Neptune Pisces energy, also one of the downsides of it, it does rule over like depression. So maybe somebody's bringing you down. If that's the case, you may have to like detach from them. Doesn't mean break up with them or, oh, I hate you, or, oh, we're done. It means just get some time to yourself, to get back into your own vibration, where you're you, not you reacting to them or you absorbing their energy, you know. Ace of Cups is here. So for some it could be a new beginning in love of some sort, new beginning of creativity. But this, I feel like it's really saying Ace of Cups is you feeling good within yourself or about yourself with the Ace of Cups. Because that's the beginnings of joy, happiness, love, you know, all those sorts of things, okay? So partnerships you may want to back away from a little bit and spend some time by yourself and cultivate. And look at where this is too, right in the heart chakra. And I believe that's even a heart in there, yeah. And that's the heart. You're ruled by the heart, Leo. That's your ruling luminary. So, I mean, the heart chakra, and you're ruled by the sun. So, but the heart chakra, that's Leo all day long, okay? So, fill up your own heart and give yourself a little thing so you can come back fresh and new next year when the Neptune moves into Aries, your fellow fire sign, and you'll feel rested, revitalized, etc. Okay, Aries, well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check your sun, rising, moon, and any other prominent placements. If you want to check my channel, I have a lot of other readings, and if you want a personal reading, I have several available at vickieverlie.com, but right now the 2026 year ahead is the big ticket item that I'm promoting. It's actually not a big ticket item, it's very affordable, and it covers the whole 4 quarters of the year. We look at astrology, we do tarot, we do an animal totem. Most popular reading of the year, only available till the end of this year, so if you want to get in on it, go ahead over to my website. Other than that, take care, and we'll be back again soon with another reading. All right, Virgo, you're up next. Now, this is going to be in your 7th house. So very much partnership related for you. Again, think back to what was going on from 2012 all the way through to 25. You know, you could be really in sync with your lover or your partner on a spiritual high level. You know, you can have that unspoken vibes and everything going on. But also, there could be deception, I'll be honest. There could be deception or misunderstanding, like you're just not seeing them clearly. That's another way that this could sort of play out, okay? But let's pull one card from the story cards, which are very Neptunian, very visual and mysterious. Not a lot of words, okay? It says, mystic, yeah. So this is the mystic. When I first saw it, I thought it said magician, because he's almost in the stance of the magician. But the mystic is very much the Neptune. I mean, that's Neptune all day long. Take a look at anything that stands out to you in this card, because that's how you could definitely get a message. But clearly he's doing some meditation or some yoga, and he's getting centered, and he's getting really in his space here, and he's figuring things out. And the way I see this globe or whatever, it's almost as if it's an orb of protection, and even the arms of the tree. So maybe sometimes Neptune, you may have some people that are, not what they seem. So maybe you want to put some protection around you as well. That could be another indication of this. Okay, but let's go ahead and get 3 cards for our Virgo Sun, Rising, Moon to clarify the Neptune and Pisces transit for our Virgos. If I said Pisces before, it's Virgo. It's always going to be whatever this sign is here. Sometimes I misspeak, but the guides know and I know what we're talking about. Whatever's displayed here is what we're doing. Now that King of Pentacles has been in that position more than once in this spread. It's interesting. In this month's readings. And then this is the Hierophant. Well, the Strength card is here too. These cards are, even though it's partnership, maybe you need to take a step back from some of your partnerships and really take a look at them. Because strength is having strength and having power and having patience. But also soothing the savage beast through love and kindness is another message that comes through. And notice on this card too, he's got that wolf. So he's got the wolf and the lamb and the lion here. So there's like, taming these wild beasts through love, kindness, patience. Well, Virgo, that's, maybe that's, could be the taming the wild beast within you, but maybe that is if you're frustrated in a partnership. Now, this 7th house isn't only a romantic partnership, but usually, primarily, it would be. But it can also be a business partnership, any other kind of partnerships that you may have to partake in or do or are interested in. It could be a lot of friendships, could be a lot of different things. Whoever the 7th house person is to you, could even be neighbors. I've noticed it could be neighbors, some people that you're interacting with. So there could be some, and the Neptune, it can be this like, what are they all about? What are they even talking? I don't even get them, And this could just be, soothing them through patience, kindness, which you are very patient. You're a very patient person. But everybody has their limits. My guy said, yeah, everybody has their limits. So this could be, you just really calming down and soothing through, taking time for yourself to get grounded, but then approaching the situation with this soothing, the savage beast soothing through kindness. Now the Hierophant is here. So, and this one, it's some kind, it looks like he's obtaining nirvana, actually, right? And right next to the meditation card. And he's in a meditative, stance here as well, the lotus position. And the lotus position is on the initial card too. So maybe you could really benefit from some meditation, yoga, etc. But he's really reached, look at, he's in ecstasy. He's reached that point of nirvana, and all kinds of things are clicking into place here. But it doesn't necessarily have to be only through meditation. I feel like what this card is telling you is that you're reaching some point that you've been striving for. These stairs that you've been walking up and walking to the top of, you've reached that point of that attainment. And also as you're showing up as the King of Pentacles, because the King of Pentacles is, the kings are always reach that point of attainment as well, right? They're not the page, they're not the knight, they've obtained the rank of the king. So you're reaching there's opportunity to reach some attainment, but you're going to have to stay calm, cool, and collected, okay? Especially when dealing with others, okay, Virgo? Hey, Virgos, thanks for tuning in. Check your rising and moon. If you want to dive deeper into these transits, all of it, I have a couple of readings, but the 2026, we'll look at this astrology from your planetary placements. We'll do 4 quarters of a year of tarot. We'll give you the animal totem. Most popular reading of the year, available for a limited time. And if you want to get more from me, check out my channel and subscribe. I have a lot of other readings on my channel, so check them out if you're new. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the sign of Libra. I forgot to clear the energy too. I got it here halfway through. All right, it felt like I needed to do that. Okay, Libra, this is in your 6th house of work and health. So again, you might want to refer back to what was going on from 2012 through early this year of March in that area of your life. Neptune in the 6th, sometimes you could really have some big creative ideas that you could work with, use as work. You're bringing creativity into your work, into your daily routines. But also it can be, Neptune can be kind of misunderstandings, not seeing things clearly, things going on behind the scenes that maybe you're not privy to, or that, that just what rub you the wrong way, my guides are saying. Just kind of rub you the wrong way. So there's more of that that's going to come back, and you have a chance to kind of clean up all that energy in that 6th house. The 6th house is also health and diet, so could be some things pertaining to that. Of course, this is not medical advice, but it's always a good idea to check in on your health. There could be hidden things that you could discover also with the Neptune there. So go in for those scans, schedule those scans and tests and whatever the case. Okay, let's go ahead and get one card from the story cards, which is a very visual Neptunian deck. It's a lot about just feeling into the vibes. So let's take a look. We have meditation. Feels like all the ones that cards are pulling, and not everything in this deck is all about meditation and stuff, but it seems like a lot of the cards are pulling are that. So she's meditating. So that's that's a good thing, and it's good for your health too. It's shown to be good for your health. And if you're like me, like I'm not somebody that can sit there in the lotus position and say om om om. I just can't do it. But I sit in nature. I connect with nature. I do art. I lose myself in art and music. Those are meditative states as well. So anything that can kind of take you out of your head, clear your head out, bring peace and alignment, to me, is a meditation. Walking. If you're in the northern hemisphere, this time of year is so gorgeous. Now, we've been having warmer weather, so our trees haven't really started to change yet, but it's coming. I mean, this is my favorite time to be. And then you're walking through the forest, and the colorful leaves are falling down, cascading down. I mean, totally. Talk about a meditative state. It's gorgeous. But here's the other thing that I noticed. Where's this dreary place that she is? Her surroundings are so dreary and so and that's just so not Libra, because usually your beautiful homes, usually Libras love to decorate, and they have art, and they usually have they make their space really beautiful. But in this case, but it's interesting too that there's a bird up there, but also, even though everything's drab and dull, she's still got her red boots. So it's almost just like, so if you're feeling down and depressed, you can still put on those red boots, and it'll just perk up your day a little bit and make you feel a little better. But she's like looking out the window too. So again, I'm really feeling, I know the card is meditation, but I'm really feeling for you that it's a connection with the outdoors and nature. Why can't these things just stay still? There we go. They're very slidey, because I don't usually use them at all. They're really kind of more of a collector deck to me, just because I love the artwork in it. I like the artist. Okay, so let's go ahead and get 3 cards for Libra from the tarot, from the Light Seer Tarot, for clarification. This is for Libra, Sun, Rising, Moon, anybody who has prominent Libra. Put them over here so we're not sliding around. 5 of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, fire sign energy, and the World. Look out, Libra. Well, the World is there. Look at the difference. I mean, here, now I didn't look through the viewfinder and notice that they were askewed. Let's get them a little straight to make a nice presentation for you guys. There we go. All right, so look at the difference between this energy and this energy. I mean, wow. And even the girls on the cards look kind of similar, They both kind of have shoulder length, wavy-ish hair, This is you, this is also you. 5 of Pentacles. Now look at this girl, she's so down in the dumps and whatever. So it does seem like maybe you've been feeling a little bit out of sorts. Maybe you've been feeling a little down in the dumps. Maybe you can't, but having trouble finding that spark, Oh, what song have they come through with? This card, all I did was go like this, and it moved. I did not touch that card. But anyways, go stay still, you little sucker. Oh, there you go. I'm hearing that song, Leave Your Hat On. Remember that one? You can leave your hat on. So I think that's, who did that song? Is it Joe Cocker, maybe? I'm not sure. But anyways, put on that outfit. Get, even don't sit around in your sweatpants day and night, you know. Put on some nice clothes that make you feel happy. Get your hair, comb out your hair, and go outside and meet the world, like the night of fire, like the horse on here. Horse is moving around, you know, being outside, traveling, transportation. Go drive to your favorite spot. Go to a bonfire. Go to a drum circle. You know, go do something, and you'll find that through this a revitalization, because look at all the downloads and all the energy that's trying to come to you. But I feel like whatever this is, you got to remove yourself from these drab circumstances. And look, the key is right there. You see on this image? There's a key right there. She's got her head down, but if she lifted her head up, she could see that the door is not locked. She's got the key right there. So the key is to get out there and experience life a little bit, put on some nice clothes or something. That we all have that favorite thing, that favorite clothes, you know, that just put that on if it makes you feel, you look good in it or you feel better. Even if you're just going out to the store, so what? Or you're just going to go for a walk, you know, it's not like, oh, I only wear that when I'm getting dressed up to go somewhere. Well, just put it on anyway. Put it on, go out there, attend this event, go to some kind of a thing. That horse is grabbing my attention so much. Maybe go horseback riding if that's your thing, whatever it might be, or somewhere where there's horses nearby, or somewhere called that, or it's like Palomino, like maybe a city or a place called, I remember there used to be a club here called the Palomino. I played there in bands, you know. That Palomino or something named after a horse, or like, you know, the crazy horse or the silver horse, or there's all these different named horse names, you know, that might, for some, that might come into play. But it's really about you unleashing this fire within and opening up to these higher, you know, because health is also your mental health, you know. Of course, I'm not a health professional, but Neptune can put you in, it has that vibe. It can put you in that depressive state sometimes. Okay, Libras, well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check your rising and moon. And if you want to get in on the 2026 year ahead reading, we'll look at all the astrology, and we'll look at tarot, and we'll do the animal totem for the entire year, most popular reading of the year, available for a limited time. Also, check out my channel, because I do have a lot of other readings on my channel. And subscribe and like if you can have a minute, because it helps me out, and I appreciate it. All right, Scorpio. Well, Scorpio, this stuff's moving back into your 5th house. And that's, like, I'm Scorpio rising, and I did have, I've always been creative. But I'll tell you, since, you guys who watch me regularly know I've always got something, irons in the fire. I'm always doing my creative stuff, always, always, always. And I'm always putting out stuff. And here lately, actually after this year, as Neptune moved out and moved into Aries, I kind of slowed down on that, I really did. It was like, I feel like I'm, I need a breather. And what I've been doing, what's interesting, I've been going through some of my old stuff and finding that it has, it has a new meaning, but also different things have come up, and it's just like, oh, like I've been submitting old stuff to different projects and stuff. Like there's, different, I don't know, like things where they want to sell a bunch of art, or other things with a lot of my artwork. I've been going back over it, and I've been pulling things out. It's like, yeah, I have stuff that fits that criteria. You know, it's just sitting here doing nothing. I might as well submit it, and I've been getting some good reactions from some of it. So, yeah, creative out the wazoo, for sure. 5th house is children, and there's been some stuff with my kids, too, but, hopefully that's going to be good as well. But, these are the things, mostly creativity, fun, and imagination. So, you may get one last burst. If you're like me and you've just been doing creative stuff like to the nth degree, maybe you're going to get one last burst. Because this isn't a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I keep forgetting to mention that. This only comes around every 200 years or whatever. It's a long, long time. Well, 1800s was the last time, 1847 to 1862. So, it's highly unlikely any of us will be alive in this incarnation anyway. All right, let's go ahead and get your oracle card from the Story Cards by Kathy Nichols, which is a very mystical deck and very sparsely, look at that. It says, what does it say? Rested? Rosted. Oh, roasted? Rooted. Maybe it says rooted because they're showing roots here. It's interesting that this is the rooted card, because the first thing that I thought was, there's Dorothy's house going off into the tornado. When I looked at this card, I mean, also allow for your own impressions of this card, because that's what it is. Well, I guess if you're rooted and grounded, then your house won't blow away. You know, it won't blow away. But it looks like things are, you know, askew. Things are, pivoted. Things are pivoting. Things are moving. What the heck is that above it? I don't even know. I can't. Do I have my magnifying glass around? Here it is. I do. Let me pull out my trusty magnifying glass. What is it? Even with the magnifying glass, I really can't tell you what it is. It almost looks like a moth, maybe. Those two gray things are the wings of a moth or a butterfly. Maybe it is. I don't know. It looks to be coming out of the other side of the house. This is a wild card, isn't it? Well, you know, and leave your impressions. If you get impressions or anything from the cards, please do leave them in the comments to help other people. If you do, then say for Scorpio reading, I see a little face with a pointy hat. That's really what I see, like a little gremlin face or a little witchy. It reminded me of Wizard of Oz, totally. So, I mean, we'll see let's clarify with the tarot and see what it gets. But it's saying rooted, so that would be grounded, even though things are topsy-turvy, I would imagine. And there's this wings are coming out of the other side of the house or something. But I feel like there's a major connection to the Wizard of Oz. That's what I'm picking up. But let's go ahead and get 3 cards for Scorpio. Let's see. Maybe expelling this wicked witch energy from your house, you know. Doing a big cleanse. King of Pentacles on the top again. Coming out on the cut. What is up with him? Well, you have nothing but people around here, which is interesting because 5th house is also love and romance. I forget to say that, but it's love and romance, it's children, it's fun and activities and things like that. But you're just surrounded in people, and none of them would represent you. You've got 2 fire signs, the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands, which is fire energy. And then you have the King of Pentacles on the top, which is earth energy, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. So this is really interesting. There's going to be a lot of people around you. My guides are saying not all bad, not all good. So some may be, you know, you may be more irritated by, and others not quite. This sure looks like some joyous energy. This card was out, I think, for the last sign too. This is some very joyous energy of having a lot of fun. You may be having like a fire in your backyard or having people over, connecting with family. Maybe if you're not feeling grounded, maybe doing the drum exercise will kind of pull you down and ground you in energy. For many, I feel like get out and mix and mingle, because it could be, if this is you, that you're rooted to your house so strong that it takes a tornado to get you out of your house, you know. That maybe that's what it's saying here. You know, you need to get out and do more socializing, because after the horse is very, you know, and then we have the lion, the Leo energy is very socializing. You know, there's this very social vibe about the whole thing, and the fire signs are too. Fire signs are also about taking action, okay? Here's another thing. When Neptune left Pisces, it went into the fire sign of Aries, right? So you may have felt like a little bit not grounded when it went into the fire sign of Aries, okay? Now with this King of Pentacles and this house with the roots and everything, you may be feeling more grounded than ever. You know, you may be feeling back in your comfort zone, my guides are saying. Yes, because we have Jupiter up here in Cancer, you're the Scorpio, and then the Neptune. We have this nice grand trine in water happening again, and that's where you can find your flow and your center, and you feel comfortable and at home, okay? All right, Scorpio, well, I hope you got something out of that message. Check your rising moon, and if you want to dive into this astrology, and as far as it pertains to you, that 2026 reading is available for a limited time. We'll do we'll do astrology for the year. We'll do tarot for the year. We'll do an animal totem for the year. And it's specific to you, not just about your sign, okay? We'll look at your astrology and everything else. All right, check it out, my channel, if you want more videos. Hit the like and subscribe. Do me that favor. I really appreciate it. And then next, we're going to take a look at the sign of Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, this is going to be in your 4th house of home and foundation, family. Re-examining your roots, where you came from. Re-examining what beliefs that you have, your belief systems that you may still be hanging on to that really aren't, really aren't helping you or serving you, Sorry, I had to get, my back was hurting. I have to get my back along, sitting with the backrest. I keep forgetting about that. I kind of sit sort of humped over, not good. Okay, let's get for Sagittarius. Let's get our light seer, not the light seer, but the story card for Sagittarius. We've got opportunity. Look at that. Well, it's fiery too, isn't it? Now, these cards don't really come with much interpretation, so this is Neptune. We're just all going to tune in the vibes and see what we feel about it, okay? Right away, I pick up that fire energy. That's what I get. And you are a fire sign also. So this fire sign energy is, opportunity. It's something that's happening. Now, it's interesting. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it almost looks like an old computer monitor or an old TV or something. So it might be something that you see on TV if you watch TV at all, or on a computer monitor on a screen. You may find out about that opportunity, which is how we find out about just about everything anymore, huh? But it might even be actually on TV. So even if you don't have a TV or watch TV anymore, maybe you'll be in a restaurant and there'll be something on the TV, in the bar area or something. Sometimes they have, a small TV with, sports scores or news, weather, whatever happening, or even in an airport or a hotel or something if you don't have one yourself. But it could be on your own TV. I really feel strongly more about on a TV set. There's going to be something, and it feels kind of, it doesn't feel so direct. Maybe for some it'll be so direct, like here's an opportunity. You want to do this, come, it's Friday, Sunday, or whatever. But I feel like it's going to be maybe more subtle because of the Neptune energy. It feels like it might be more like just some commercial or some. It feels very much like a sort of a commercial or an ad of some sort, And it's not about you wanting to jump on whatever they're selling, but it sparks something in you. It sparks an idea, and you get this idea and you get this message. Okay, let's go ahead and do 3 cards for our Sagittarius, Sun, Rising, or Moon. Okay. King of Wands. Queen of Wands. Wow, look, those are all representation of you. And King of Cups. You're the second. Was that last one? It was Scorpio. And nothing but people. Isn't that interesting? Well, in your case, it's highly likely that these people are from your group, like your soul group, your foundation, your family, your inner circle, your roots. Like these are having to do with your roots. But with this opportunity card showing up here, it sure looks also like that maybe this could be something. Stop it. There we go. Close enough. That this could be something that you would be doing with the group. And you would be doing with a group that you really vibe with. Now, the King and the Queen of Wands are here. So this is a very good partnership. You could be represented by either. Because this is the fire sign energy. This is the Leo, the Aries, or the Sagittarius. So there's this fire sign, fire and opportunity in this red. It's like, wow, things are going to really be happening. And even him, even though he's King of Cups, you'll notice he has a red shirt on as well. Which is, I would never, if I were doing, I love this deck, but I mean, that's not typical of the cup people. They don't usually wear red, because that's fire, right? And even he's got the red sea monster, or whatever, the seahorse. Starfish, excuse me, I don't know when I said sea monster. I'm thinking about my Lake Erie book, which I forgot to bring in here. And then there's this orange-red goldfish here. It might be you and your partner, and then this other third person that comes in. Because this one of these things is not like the other, remember that? But even though he's water, it's fire and water, completely different vibes. you know, he's got something to contribute, and there is a connection. And even, you know, he's got that fish on him. So that's also the Neptune energy. You know, the Neptune Pisces energy is the fish. He's wearing that fish necklace, and of course he's surrounded by all the water. This could also just represent that whole thing of the Neptune and Pisces and your fire thing. But I do feel like these are also for sure people. We could layer a lot of other meanings on top, and many would be true, but we have to, core being, these are people. These are your people, my guides just said. These are your people that you're going to be hanging out with, working with. There's an opportunity here, and my guides are saying strike while the iron's hot. Maybe for a home-based business, but maybe getting your whole family involved even for some. Hey Sagittarius, check out my 2026 reading, and we'll look at all the astrology as it pertains to you. It's got tarot, astrology, animal totem, and if you like my content, please do hit the like and subscribe, and check out my channel because I have other videos there. Many are longer and in-depth than these shorter ones that I'm offering right now. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the sign of Capricorn. Well, this is in your 3rd house here, Capricorn. So this is communication. This is also your siblings and like your neighborhood or where you live, but it's mainly communication, news. So let me go ahead and shuffle the cards, and we're going to pull one card from the Story Cards by Kathy Nichols. This is a very dreamy, intuitive deck with not a lot of words, and even she included a little sheet, but it doesn't really say much. It's more about feeling the vibes and looking at the art, and then we'll clarify with the tarot after. But let's look at this card here, the Story Cards for Capricorn. We've got Dreamer. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. It looks like this is New York City, is it not? Anybody familiar with this? Nathan's Frankfurters, is that in New York City? That's the sign in the background here, but he, you know, he looks like a New York kind of guy. I thought he was playing a saxophone at first, but he's lighting a cigarette. Yeah, but Dreamer, so maybe some of you are trying to make it in show business or the Great White Way, you know, Broadway or something. I don't know. It's weird that I would even say the Great White Way. I don't usually, you know, I mean, Broadway's cool. I'm not anti-Broadway, but that's not usually something I would say. This flew out. 6 of Pentacles. Well, dreaming is whatever you're dreaming. Doesn't have, whatever your aspirations are, you know, and Capricorn has many. Since the first one flew out, we're going to, instead of cutting, we're going to let them come out like that. Here's the second card, which is 10 of Wands, coming to the end of the journey, and here's the last one, 3 of Cups. I love this one, because this reminds me so much of me and my daughter. Like, that's me, and that's my 2 daughters, because they're both blondes, and, well, now their hair's sort of brown, but they had blonde hair a lot of their lives. And one's tall like me, and one's a little shorter. This always reminds me of that card. And I always see this when I go out at night to let the dog out. Yeah, so 3 of Cups is a great card of happiness, celebration, coming together. It can represent an actual event, a holiday or celebration. Could be your birthday. Your birthday falls during this time frame because Neptune will move out of there at January 26th. So you're going to have your solar return this year, which is your birthday, is going to have that in, you know, be in Pisces like it is. But it looks like, you know, you're dreaming of something, and this card 10 of Wands at the top is you've been working hard for a long time. You've been carrying a heavy load. I like this depiction though, because it's like a job well done. A lot of the decks will show it in continual struggle, but it is the 10. So you're coming to the end. She's packing up for the day. She's got everything done. All her work is done. She's going home, taking her cow or her ox or whatever it is here. He's going home. The work is done. Now it's time for fun, play, celebration. Now it's time to receive the rewards. Now it's time to receive the monetary rewards when it's the 6 of Pentacles, okay? So there's some kind of monetary reward, something that you've been dreaming about, some kind of success thing that you've also worked very hard on. Put in a lot of work here. You're going to have the celebration, and you're going to have the reason to celebrate. This could also be, even if this isn't you who's involved in the performing arts, maybe you'll be attending some kind of a show. Even if it might be somebody you know is involved in it. I mean, maybe you're even involved in producing or working behind the scenes, you know, all this hard work that went into it. But maybe it's just like, I finished this project, I got paid, let's splurge and pay for a, I mean, because anymore, go to a concert. What a Rush tickets, oh my God, I'd love to see, I can't forget her name, Rush. I saw Rush a lot of times back in the day. He used to come. I saw them, these radio stations around here would have $5 shows, or because that was 105, you know, and 2 cans of food shows. I saw them a lot of times in the early days for that, for those kind of shows, really like dirt cheap and in smaller, you know, small venues. But some people are like freaking out. I mean, the tickets are a couple $1,000s for a concert ticket. That seems a little bit a lot. But I mean, if it's somebody that you just really want to see, and you know, it's so cool because you got a chick drummer. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name right off the top of my head, but I think that's so awesome of them and so progressive. And you know, if it's a chick that can handle Neil Peart, because come on, you know, that would be a sight to see. But I mean, I don't know about $2,000 for a ticket, and then they get shut out too. People were trying to order on pre-sale or something and getting shut out. So I mean, it's not like before when I was coming up, man. I go to concerts 2-3 times a week. You know, these days, you know, maybe once or twice a year you can swing it. You know, it's a lot, or not at all. You know, but anyways, so. Maybe you're going to get paid and you're going to splurge, or even a vacation or something. Take to New York to see a show or something. Take your family or something to see a show, or over the holidays or something like that. But whatever the case, whatever you're dreaming of, it's arriving. It's arriving during this time. And Neptune in the 3rd is a great place for dreaming. That's exactly what it is. Mental mind, and then Neptune, using your imagination to dream and visualize what you want to create. Okay? All right, so hey Capricorns, thanks for tuning in. Check your sun, rising, moon, or any planets that you resonate with. If you want to get in on that 2026 year ahead reading, we'll look at all this astrology, specifically as it pertains to you. We'll check the eclipses, the whole thing. Then we'll do a 4-part tarot reading for the upcoming year and an animal totem for one low price that I haven't changed the price on in over 10 years. Only available for a limited time. Check it out if you're interested. Check out my other videos and hit that like and subscribe. Do me that favor. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the sign of Aquarius. Well, this is moving into your 2nd house of money. I mean, on the upside, you could make money through Neptunian things, spirituality, creativity. On the downside, you know, their money could be weird. You know, you might not see it. All of a sudden, something that was there, it's not there anymore. Well, again, we always want to think back to the big, it's been in there from 2012 through May of this year, or March of this year, excuse me. So think back to those time frames and what was going on with your money, and how did it potentially change from April to October, that 6-month period. When Neptune moved out and moved into here, did your money situation change? Well, it's going to go back to probably what it was before. But hey, if you're in the creative field or something, and you had some kind of job that you loved, that could come back again. You know, so it's not necessarily negative. It's going to depend on your experience of it. All right, let's get a card from these story cards, which are very Neptunian, and see what we have for Aquarius. It says communion. Wow. Well, I was raised Catholic, but I'm not preaching any Catholic thing or any religious thing to anybody. But if you are Catholic, maybe you do want to go and take communion. If you've been raised Catholic or been Catholic, even if you haven't been for a long time. Occasionally, if I go to a funeral, usually is what it is, a funeral mass, I will take communion. Even though I haven't gone to confession, sorry Catholic Church, but I will go up and take communion, and kind of just like an honoring that person and their life and their beliefs. It's something it's sort of instilled in me, but I will do that. But I mean, it doesn't have to be. This seems more like communing with nature, and by the way, let this resonate with you, whatever it wants to be. You don't necessarily have to go with what I say. That's why I chose this deck, because it's very dreamy and very much you can kind of just vibe on it like Neptune. But what this looks like to me is the winter solstice. That's very much what this reminded me of, when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn in around December 21st every year. Winter solstice being in the northern hemisphere I'm referring to, which will be during this time frame, okay? I feel like this could be some kind of peak experience. This could be something communing with spirit, communing with nature. could be very powerful for you at this time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle up the cards, and we're going to do 3 cards to clarify from the tarot, the Light Seer Tarot, for Aquarius, Sun, Rising, Moon, or anybody who has prominent Aquarius in their chart, cross watchers included. First card we have is the 8 of Cups. Let's move this over here. Second card we have is the Queen of Cups, water, water everywhere, Pisces, Neptune energy, right? And then the third card we have is the 7 of Wands. This is really interesting. What grabs me right away is the 7 of Wands. You know, it's got these wands coming up at her, and then there's, these could almost, has a similar feel. There's these wands or these rods or these sticks. I guess they're trees, really. But in both cases, the people aren't touched by this. I like this 7 of Wands a lot. The thing is about the 7 of Wands, though, is she's able to, like, fend off the energy for now. She's got her protection, and she's fending off the energy. Now she's dealing with you know, the pressures that are coming at her, all these different things that are coming at her. She's able to, like, stay in her center and grounded, and no, you shall not penetrate my fortress of solitude here, or whatever. But this is not forever. This is not obtainable forever. You cannot do this forever. There's something's got to give here. And then here's this Queen of Cups. She's also bringing in the energy, right? Very similar. And she also has, well, it looks like it's a chair, but first it struck me as like a circle of protection as well. I feel like this Queen of Cups is somebody that could definitely help you. Now, there is 2 people on here. I didn't realize that initially. There's 2 people on here. So even though the 8 of Cups is the individual by themselves, but there's 2 people here. So I feel like for one part of this reading, one interpretation, I feel as if you want to ask for help if you need it. The other thing is, if this situation is just too much and too stressful and it's just too much, you can't handle it, you may walk away. I mean, that's what this card is, 8 of Cups, you know. And she's walking away from, even though she's invested time and energy in it, she's walking away. And what's interesting here is it's floating on water. I almost thought it was ice. And it's like, it's this is melting the ice, or you're on thin ice here. Like, this isn't, there's a pool of water here and a pool of ice here, and I felt like this is melting that. It's not sustainable, okay? So if something's really stressing you out and whatever, you need to move on, you need to walk on. And she's walking on towards the sun coming up for that new day. That new day is dawning over there, and that's what the new thing. That's what she's walking towards. But also look at the way the cards are in the spread. She's walking towards this person. So this Queen of Cups, I feel like, is a partnership for many, but also she may be some kind of practitioner or something, like a Reiki master or a massage therapy person, the way those hands are, and she's pulling all the energy and everything. For some, maybe you need to just go visit there. But you can't handle this all on your own, I think, is the question. So either A, you can walk away, or B, you can ask for help. That's where you're at, it looks like, you know, for many. If this doesn't resonate, check out the other signs. And if you want to dive into this, how it really pertains to you, we can absolutely order that year ahead reading. We'll look at the astrology. We'll do the 4 quarters of tarot. We'll pull the animal totem. So it's available. If you enjoy this content, please do hit the like and subscribe, and check out my channel for more videos that some are much more in depth than this shorter video here. Okay, lastly, we're going to look at Pisces. Well, it's all about you, Pisces. You know, from 2012 through March of this year, you had Pisces, Neptune in your sign. Not only is Neptune in your sign, which is powerful, but it's also your ruling planet. So everything about you, Piscean, your spirituality, your creativity, your intuitive nature, your psychic downloads and visions, you know, all of that, connecting with your higher self, subconscious mind, that was all enhanced. You know, so it could be a lot. Might be a lot. You know, so after that, in March of this year, end of March, it moved out of your sign. Through April through October. So you had a little bit of a break and a reprieve from it, a little bit to a chance to reflect on the last 13 years or so. And then you could look at it and say, maybe you got one more chance to kind of like go back and do that last finishing touches on this Neptune transit, because it won't be back for like a couple hundred years. It's a long time. So you won't see it again in this incarnation. All right, let's go ahead and get our Pisces card for from the Oracle card from the Story Cards by Kathy Nichols. Let's see here. You have Frozen. Yeah. Well, Frozen in the Northern Hemisphere, this reminds me of winter, totally. What the heck is that? Oh, that's a butterfly down here. But yeah, the birds are in the cage. There's a deer. Again, I said this for somebody else. This reminds me of the solstice a little bit. Well, it definitely, that's the onset of winter in the Northern Hemisphere too. I'm hearing a Zeppelin song. It is the springtime of my loving, the second season I'm to know. It isn't hard to recognize. Oh no, just for the warmth I feel for so slow. Well, my key feels so slow or something. What I'm seeing here though, and I want you to look at that card too and really dive into your feelings and vibes from it. That's why I chose this deck, because it's Neptunian, it's Piscean. But there's not one but two butterflies on here. So now you're in the chrysalis stage, okay? Now you're in the chrysalis stage, and then as we move to the next phase, as we get into end of January, February, that's when this is going to be blooming. You're putting the final touches on something. Let's go ahead and again look at this card, and whatever vibes you feel, go with that, because that's why I chose it. But also, if you get some good energy off these cards or some good downloads, leave it in the comments to share with other people. But make sure you say this is for the Pisces, which sign it is, so people don't have to watch the whole video. Okay, let's go ahead and get 3 cards from the tarot to clarify Light Seer Tarot for Pisces. I'm going to put them over here. 1, 2, 3. We have the Moon. And then next we have 2 of Wands. And then finally we have Queen of Pentacles. Well, you're making your plans. Now this is the Moon card, which is also very similar to Neptune Piscean energy. It's about the subconscious mind, it's about the dream state, it's about all these things. But this could be talking about these moon energies, like even some of these eclipses. Now and that's one of the things that I definitely talk about with everybody as far as when we do your head readings, where the eclipses are going to fall. Now there won't be any eclipse but while Neptune's back in Pisces. But there is going to be a Pisces eclipse next year. That's what I thought there was. It's all the way in August. So, but it could be something like what you're dreaming on now, what you're trying to give birth to. It might come to fruition around that August 28th eclipse. That could be, it's going to be very powerful for everybody. And again, that's something we talk about in the readings. But this moon energy too, look, she's in the water, submerged in the water, submerged in the subconscious mind. That's you. 2 of Wands, she's dreaming the dream. She's looking out the window, dreaming the dream. So she's dreaming the dream. She's thinking about traveling and various things. But it's still in the frozen state. It's still in the idea state, still in the subconscious state. But here comes the Queen of Pentacles. This Queen of Pentacles, well, first of all, this could be saying whatever you're dreaming up could have to do with money and finances with Pentacles, right? But secondly, Queen of Pentacles is very grounded in the earth plane. This is bringing it into the material world. Now, we will be moving into the sign of Capricorn at solstice, as the winter solstice around December 21st through January 20-something will be in the sign of Capricorn, okay? So Capricorn, this stuff that you're dreaming now, you may see it come to fruition or see the roots of it becoming real and in the physical world while we're in Capricorn time. And then after that moves back out on January 26th, which is just a few days after, like within a week of leaving Capricorn, it'll move out into your 2nd house again. That's when you can really lay those financial foundations. So this is a time of reevaluating, going within, thinking things through, thinking things over, reevaluating. That's the big, and dreaming your dream. Some things may seem frozen, but there's still activity. There's still butterflies. The birds are still singing, and you are still dreaming. You are the dreamer dreaming the dream, my guides are saying. And that's you all day long, Pisces. Hey Pisces, well thanks for tuning in. Don't forget about the 2026 reading. We will look at all this astrology. We will look and see where that Pisces stuff actually hits up with your planets. Not only your sun sign, but your other planets. I'm sure many of you have other planets in Pisces. As along with all the other stuff that's going on. Quite a bit of stuff is happening. And Saturn is in your sign also. And then we will do a 4-part tarot reading for the 4 quarters of the year, and we'll pull an animal totem. So get a lot for your money on this one. It's the most popular reading of the year, available for a limited time. Head over to my website to find out about that. And if you like my style of reading, do head over to my channel. And to like and subscribe costs absolutely nothing. And I have other videos on there that may be of interest. Many are longer than these short videos. I do a long monthly one every week. I even have some on Patreon too, different kinds of readings. So head over to my channel and my website. I appreciate you very much. Do me that favor of hitting that like and subscribe. It helps me out. And I'll be back again soon with another reading. Bye.